You ever see someone turn into the villain of their own life and keep thinking they're still the hero? That's what's happening to Kody Brown currently. He doesn't even know the family has spent years attempting to dominate isn't just lost. It's revealing him piece by piece. Each episode, each interview, each tiny breakdown informs us more of the reality. It's not about plural marriage anymore. It's about ego, fixation, and how power consumes people when they can't surrender. Hi besties, welcome back to the channel. Get comfortable, because we have to discuss the agonizing, glacial self-destruction of Kody Brown and how Robyn became both his audience and his co-conspirator. This is not reality TV soap opera stuff anymore. This is a case study in control, manipulation, and what goes down when fame is a religion. Let's go back. Remember when Kody used to say he was called by God to live plural marriage? He said it like a mission statement, like he was the chosen one. That illusion gave him power for years. He built a family on obedience and guilt, all while pretending it was faith and unity. But the truth is, Kody's power only existed as long as everyone around him played their part. The moment Christine broke free of the script, the facade shattered, and he hasn't ceased spinning out of control since. It's crazy to see, isn't it? You can detect it in each fresh interview. His tone's more pointed, his stance more rigid, his eyes that blend of fury and desperation. He repeats the word loyalty, but what he's really referring to is domination. He repeats the word respect, but what he's really after is quiet. He can't deal with the fact that Christine and Janelle no longer fear him. He can't deal with the fact that Mary finally stopped going after crumbs of attention. And he certainly can't deal with the fact that the viewers, the very people who defended him, are now witnessing his implosion in real time. And then there's Robyn. Oh, Robyn. She's not merely a supporting player in this implosion, she's the catalyst. She's the mirror held up to everything Kody doesn't want to confront. She acts the victim, sobbing over shattered families, but each tear is orchestrated. Observe her when Kody rants. She doesn't interrupt him, she affirms him, she understands. The more he belittles the rest of them, the more alone he becomes. And alone means control. She's not the victim, she's the anchor holding him in his own tempest. Here's what's so interesting. Kody and Robyn don't even know that they've become the very thing that they once dreaded most. Hating each other but unable to exit because their reputation is held together by remaining together. Recall how they used to talk about spiritual principles and eternal families? Now everything their relationship is founded on is resentment. Kody's a narcissist who's addicted to worshiping himself, and Robyn's addicted to being pitied. It's the ideal emotional trap. She needs his anger to feel relevant, and he needs her validation to feel powerful. Without the other wives to absorb the blame, they're stuck fighting ghosts. Think about Christine's departure for a second. That moment was the reset button Kody never saw coming. When she said, "I'm leaving," she wasn't just leaving him, she was dismantling his system. She left with peace, not revenge, and that's what hurts him so badly. Kody needs a reaction, chaos, people having to explain themselves to him. But Christine didn't. She smiled, she walked away, she started a life in Utah, and she never looked back. That's what terrifies narcissists the most, indifference. And that's why his fixation on her being happy is so intense. It's evidence that she got away from something he can't recreate. Robyn, however, can't live without the drama. Notice how whenever things settle down, she stirs it all up again? A fresh complaint, a fresh tear, a fresh misunderstanding. Why? Because peace doesn't get her noticed. Drama does, and she's become an expert at passive manipulation, act like she just wants peace while nurturing strife in secret. It's a control mechanism masquerading as compassion. But here's the thing nobody's saying. Fame destroyed them before Christine ever left. The moment the cameras flipped on, their faith became a product. Faith became a narrative. Sacrifice became a slogan. And Kody began to believe his own hype. He wasn't living plural marriage for God anymore. He was living it for accolades. He needed to be the center of attention, the four-wife man, the modern prophet of polygamy. But fame doesn't shield illusions. It reveals them. Every blow, every fissure in his mask, every tear Robyn turned against him, it's all on tape for eternity. And now, he's stuck with the image he created. I just keep thinking about something Christine said a long time ago. I want to be happy again. 3 little words that brought the whole thing crashing down Kody worked so hard to create. Because that's what freedom sounds like. And now every smile she gives is a reminder to the world that she didn't lose. She won. She left the destruction behind, and she found herself. That's why Kody's meltdown is not actually about betrayal. It's about jealousy. She was at peace, and he can't purchase it, dominate it, or pretend to it on television. Let's discuss the children because they observe everything now. They fear nothing anymore. They've matured understanding their parents' drama being exposed, and rather than being quiet, they're speaking truth. Gwendolyn standing up to lies, Peden revealing hypocrisy. It's the generational turning point. The children are no longer pawns in Kody's game. They're the witnesses. And you can see that it irks him deeply, because his version of truth is no longer dictating the family history. The more he rants, the more it's clear that he's battling phantasms. Robyn continues to act like she's merely seeking to heal the family. But healing comes with responsibility, and that's the one word that never passes her lips. She desires forgiveness without admission. She desires sympathy without integrity. And that's why all apologies ring false. "I'm sorry you feel that way" is not healing. It's manipulation dressed as empathy. And the audience has wised up. The comments aren't what they used to be. The viewers who used to empathize now recognize the pattern. And once you see the pattern, you never unsee it. There's a line at the end of the finale episode where Kody turns to the camera and says, "I don't know who I am anymore." That struck me, because that ain't no villain saying it. That's a man realizing the character he defined has taken him over. Fame, ego, pride, those have become his religion. He's not living by faith anymore. He's living in fear. Fear of being irrelevant. Fear of being forgotten. Fear that without the show, without the wives, without the chaos, there's nothing left. It's not quite poetic, is it? The man who preached unity is left utterly alone. The wife who preached purity is the embodiment of deception. And the woman they shunned is the sole one who achieved peace. It's the perfect moral reversal, karma in the guise of reality TV. Christine didn't have to ruin them. They ruined themselves. And here's the terrifying part. The meltdown isn't finished. The tension between Robyn and Kody at the moment is volatile, unstable. Each episode, each interview, the facade crumbles a little further. You sense the tension building, the guilt festering inside. And when it finally explodes, it won't be a quiet discussion. It'll be explosive. A confrontation that makes them confront all that they've repressed for years. And when that occurs, it won't only be the demise of the Brown family we know. It'll be the demise of the illusion that began it all. So, friends, here's the question I want to ask. Do you really think Kody can ever confess he is the issue? Or is he too deep into his own delusion? Share your comments below, because the tale isn't yet over. Something huge is impending. You can sense it. The fame, the deception, the disguises, they're all beginning to break. And when at last the truth bursts out, it won't be good. It'll be loud, public, and irreparable. Stay tuned, besties. This isn't the fall of a family anymore. It's the fall of a legacy. Bye, besties, and wait until you see what comes next. If you observe what's currently transpiring, it's obvious that this is more than a family breaking down. This is a man imploding in public, and a woman hanging on to a fantasy that's already deceased. The fact of the matter is that Kody Brown's collapse isn't merely about religion or relationships. It's about control, image, and the gradual demise of a story he doesn't anymore have ownership of. Each episode we hear a little more desperation from his eyes, a little more tension in his voice. He's no longer speaking to his wives. He's speaking to the audience, pleading with us to believe he's still the hero of his own story. But the problem with fame is, once the facade slips, it never fits anymore. Robyn understands that. You can see it in the way she looks at him these days. That watchful eye, that incessant fear that he'll open his mouth and insert his foot, that the internet will cannibalize him. She isn't keeping him safe because she loves him. She's doing it because she's afraid of what occurs when the facade at long last perishes. For without Kody, she loses her narrative. She's not the faithful wife, the last believer, the emotional anchor. She's just another human being standing alone in the rubble of something that once seemed flawless. and flawlessness has long been Robyn's addiction. Observe how she acts out. She weeps at the appropriate times, softens her tone when referring to Faith, glances down just so that she appears humble. It's all staged, and it once worked. But now it's starting to look forced. Viewers can tell when emotion is real and when it's performance. Robyn's tears used to get sympathy. Now they get eye rolls. Because when every scene ends with her sobbing while blaming Christine, it stops feeling like grief and starts feeling like manipulation. She's overusing her own character arc, and people are done buying it. What's even more interesting is how Christine's silence turned out to be her strongest tool. She doesn't clap back, she doesn't respond, she doesn't defend herself. She just exists, and that annoys them to no end. Every smile she puts on social media, every time she has fun with her kids, it's rebellion and silence. It declares, "I'm free and you can't touch me anymore." And for individuals like Kody and Robyn who thrive on control and reaction, silence is torturous. It's like yelling in a vacuum. No matter how much they yell, no one's responding back. You ever notice Kody's rage always occurs in waves? 1 second he's attempting to try to be composed, the next he's yelling about betrayal, disrespect, loyalty. That's not a man explaining himself. That's a man defending a delusion. He's insisting on using the word family, but what he's really talking about is followers. And the issue is, his followers left. Christine quit worshiping him. Janelle began setting boundaries. Mary quit waiting for his permission. And now he's stuck with one woman who still plays the role, Robyn, and even that is beginning to crumble. There was a point where Kody could have turned the situation around. All he needed to do was admit that he wasn't perfect, own up, be humble. That is what the people needed. But no, he doubled down instead. Every interview was an argument. Every apology was a blame. He would claim, "I did everything right and they turned on me." That's not reflection. That's denial. And denial, when combined with fame, is self-destruction. Because the more he struggles to dictate the story, the more it escapes him. It's almost poetic the way fame built him up and then incrementally tore him down. The show gave him everything: attention, validation, money, but it also captured every crack, every contradiction, every lie. And now, when he attempts to rewrite the history books, there's a decade of video evidence to the contrary. You can't rewrite real life once it's gone out on the air. That's what gnaws at him. He sees Christine's liberty as perfect TV, and his resentment is not. He knows that people once looked up to him, but now they feel sorry for him. And the irony is, he still can't help but act. Robyn's involvement in all this can't be discounted either. She's not merely collateral damage. She's an enabler. She played the long game, putting herself in the position of favorite and acting like she didn't care. And it paid off, temporarily. But when you are the sole remaining wife, there's no one to put the blame on. You can't be the victim when you're the survivor. Now she realizes that being the chosen one isn't happiness, it's visibility. There is no place left to hide. Each tear, each excuse, each insincere apology is scrutinized under the microscope, and the viewers aren't forgiving anymore. The irony is that Christine's tale, her autonomy, her serenity, is sustaining the show. People aren't viewing for Kody and Robyn's romance. They're viewing to see the aftermath. To see what occurs when a man who at one point had said he was leading a family figures out he's merely yelling into a chasm. Christine is the closure everyone wants, and that pushes them crazy. Each time she wins, a new boyfriend, a new home, a new happy instant, seems like a slap in the face. And the harder they push to make light of her triumphs, the more transparent their jealousy is. There's one thing Kody said that perfectly says it. He glared directly into the camera and declared, "I feel like everybody betrayed me." That's not a betrayed man. That's an ego-abandoned man. Because the fact is, nobody betrayed him. They simply stopped buying the story he was trying to sell. And when the story no longer works, the star begins to plummet. You can see the panic underlying his rage now. He's not angry at Christine or the children. He's angry at the audience for flipping sides. He's angry that his own power doesn't hold any weight outside of that show. And here's the part that makes my skin crawl. This isn't finished. The cracks are widening. The way Robyn and Kody speak now sounds less like a pair and more like co-conspirators, attempting to maintain an empire on the verge of crumbling. Their mouths no longer match their faces. They're both tired of pretending. Fame made them powerful, but it also made them mirrors, and they despise what they see. They can't hide behind religion or family any longer. All that's left is reputation, and reputation doesn't return your love. I wonder about Christine sometimes in her new house, likely laughing with her children, perhaps making dinner while the cameras are rolling. And then I think of Kody, walking back and forth in this huge empty mansion, struggling to find meaning in a world that no longer centers around him. That's the tragedy. The man who wished for everlasting love cannot even achieve quietness in his own heart. And Robyn, who desired oneness, is left with isolation masquerading as devotion. It is no longer a love story, it's a warning tale. But something is telling me we're not near the breaking point yet. The tension is rising, the tension is switching, and before long, one of them is going to say something that cannot be unsaid. This is always how it goes down. The truth does not blow all at once. It leaks, it cracks, it seeps out until you have nowhere left to hide. And when that time arrives, when Kody finally knows that the empire he created has dissolved from within, Thessalon's thereafter will be choking. So huddle close, besties, because the tale ain't finished yet. The last act has not been performed yet, and I think it's going to be the most thunderous one of them all. There's something that happens when you get to witness someone slowly come to understand they've lost control that resonates differently. Kody Brown isn't mad anymore. He's frantic. You can hear him in his tone, see it in how his words and his eyes aren't aligning. He's still attempting to do strength, but the cracks are now visible. The voice that used to boom with certainty sounds like it's being heard in an empty room. Each new confession sounds less explanatory and more confessional. And the truth he's trying to escape is gaining on him quickly. Robyn knows it too. Her tears are falling short like they used to. The sympathy has worn off. The audience no longer feels sorry for her. They're exhausted. She's saying the same script, the same tragic tale, but now it rings hollow. Because you can only cry wolf so many times before no one listens anymore. You notice the fear in her eyes each time Kody speaks out of turn, each time he rants on and on, each time the facade cracks. She's not worried about losing him. She's worried about losing control over how they're perceived. You can sense the tension between them shifting. It's thick, heavy, stifling. The silence that doesn't cure, it hums, it resonates, it warns. They've evolved from being co-believers to image captives. Celebrity was meant to immortalize them, yet it's making them vulnerable instead. All the lies, the manipulations, the crocodile tears, they've all been replayed one too many times. The truth is greater now than their alibis. And still, Kody can't help himself. He's addicted to anger. It's the last thing that makes him feel strong. Every mention of Christine's name, his body betrays him, tensed shoulders, locked jaw, eyes flicking to the camera as if it's pleading with it to take his side. But it doesn't. The camera is no longer a confessional, it's a mirror. And this mirror doesn't lie. I find myself wondering what's occurring off camera. What do they do when the production lights dim and the house falls silent? Does Kody sit in silence, gazing at walls that once rang with pandemonium? Does Robyn continue to reassure him it's all going to be okay, while quietly questioning if she does too? Because there's something unsaid between them now, something even the cameras can't conceal. They've constructed a universe on fear and loyalty, and now they're both locked in it. You can sense it brewing, the anger, the fatigue, the terror of being made obsolete. It's no longer a family disintegrating. It's an empire crumbling beneath the weight of its own deceptions. And they know it deep down. The more they attempt to establish that they're victims, the more it becomes clear that they brought their own devastation upon themselves. Fame did not ruin Kody and Robyn. Family did not ruin them. They ruined themselves, incrementally, in plain sight, utterly. But there's something that hasn't been mentioned yet. Something that has been mumbled off screen, alluded to in interviews, hidden in fan theory, but never really spoken of. It's the something that would finally break what's left of the magic. The something that would even leave the die-hard fans wondering about everything they ever believed. And it's coming. You can sense it in the tension, in how Kody avoids answering some questions, and how Robyn's eyes flick away when Christine's new life is brought up. There's a truth that lingers in the background between them, something that would rewrite the entire narrative. And when it comes out, it won't just be the end of the show. It'll be the end of the legend of Kody and Robyn for good. Because this isn't just the fall of a marriage anymore. It's the unraveling of a legacy built on control, rewritten by karma, and watched by millions. The Brown family isn't fighting each other now. They're fighting the truth. And the truth always wins. The only question left is, who's going to break first? Bye, besties. And trust me, you're going to want to see what happens next.